Today we're talking about competition. Competition can be a force for good. It's one of those things that can pump up the adrenaline. It can keep you on toes, and not just in the world of academia, in basically every sphere of our lives. But competition can also have a negative effect. It can have a negative impact when it crosses the line and it becomes cutthroat competition or unhealthy competition. So that's just a snippet of what we're talking about in today's video. My name is George Murichu. I serve as a pastor with Christ is the Answer Ministries in Woodley, and I'm glad to bring to you today's video. Keep watching and hit that subscribe button. Like I've mentioned, competition is one of those things that can really bring out the best in us. I think of particularly academic scenes. When you know that you are not the best there is, if you slacken in your work, someone else will occupy top spot. It can help to keep you in check. It can keep complacency at bay. And it can help you to rise above mediocrity and to strive for excellence, not just even in academia. I'm thinking about in your place of work. It can drive you towards a place of being competent, striving for competence. Even in the world of relationships, it can help you to fight those little foxes that spoil the vine. That's what competition does. But like anything in this fallen world, competition can cross over, and it can become unhealthy. In the family scene, when that happens, we talk about sibling rivalry. And we know a tale of many siblings who have been envious of one another to the point of murder. The very first siblings in the Bible bear witness to that. That envy, if not kept in check, when competition becomes unhealthy, it can lead to murderous thoughts and murderous actions. And the story we want to examine today is not the tale of two brothers, but rather the tale of two sisters. They were involved in this cycle of competition, and theirs crossed the line, and it became unhealthy competition. It became cutthroat competition. And these two women were basically competing against each other, and they were doing this for the love and affection of their husband, Jacob. We see the story recorded for us in Genesis 29. And I want to sample a few verses. This is a story of Leah and Rachel. I'll start off from verse 31. When the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. And Leah conceived and bore a son, and she called his name Reuben. For she said, because the Lord has looked upon my affliction, for now my husband will love me. We haven't even got to Rachel as yet. But in verse 31 we're told that Leah conceived, the Lord opened up her womb. He had taken note that she was hated. And this is contrasted with the barrenness of Rachel. So the point that I see here, particularly for someone who is dealing with unhealthy competition, and it's become so unhealthy that envious thoughts are coming into your heart and into your mind. And envy, as we know, can drive you to sinful actions. The thing that I see here is that no one has everything in this life. No one has everything. Why? Why do I say that? I say that because backdrop is that Leah was not the one Jacob had desired to marry. Leah was less attractive than Rachel. Rachel, the younger sister of Leah, was beautiful in form and appearance. That's what the narrator tells us. And he contrasts that description with Leah, talking about something around the eyes. This is earlier on in the chapter. And the narrator says that something about Leah's eyes. Commentators are not even agreed about it. Some say that Leah was not easy on the eyes. She was not easy to look at. Some talk about how she might have had an eye issue, an eye defect. Whatever the case, we know that Rachel got the lion's share of beauty. Leah clearly did not. But here's the thing. Leah had one thing that was going for her. She may not have had beauty. She may not even have had the lion's share of her husband's affection. One thing she had going for her, the Bible tells us, the Lord opened her womb. And that already speaks to how God is able to equalize all situations. He's able to He's able to distribute gifts at will. He decides. No one in this life has every single thing. And that is an idea that, as you think through, I believe it can medicate envy. It can keep envy at bay. Because envy is when, instead of counting my blessings, I begin to count the blessings of my neighbor, or I begin to count the blessings of Joneses. I'm sure you've heard of that phrase, keeping up with the Joneses. So the Joneses have moved up to a better neighborhood. They've moved to a bigger house. And so you are strategizing on how to keep up with them. And keeping up with them may come at the great cost of some bad debt. And so that wouldn't be a good idea, obviously. So what do? You remind yourself, number one, no one has everything figured out. No one has all the blessings. No one has everything going for them. And this is an idea that we'll track through as we go on with this story. But I want to pause there and ask you to think about your life. Is it possible that you've been counting the blessings of others and you've forgotten to count the blessings of God in your life? Could it be that in trying to keep up with the Joneses, you have lost sight of all the good things that God has endowed you with? Maybe in your perspective right now, there are not even many things. It could just be but one thing. Leah, we're told, was able to be like a fruitful vine. We're told she bore a son, Reuben, thereafter Simeon, thereafter Levi, and so forth. So I want to challenge you who is stuck in that place of envy and unhealthy competition. Today, I want to remind us that godliness with contentment is great gain. And contentment is not synonymous with a lack of ambition. I'm not talking about living a life where you're passionless, where you don't have zeal. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about settling for less when you know that you can strive and achieve more. I'm not talking about mediocrity, but I'm trying to say that part of the contentment we see implied in this particular verse could be counting the blessings that God has availed to you. We'll keep tracking these two women as we look at their story, but I'd love to hear what you think. Do you have any questions about this? Do you have any scenarios in your workplace, in your family, growing up, or even now, where you're contending with envy and you're dealing with unhealthy competition? Let's talk about this. Please share, please like our page. CITAM Church Online is available on various social media platforms, and we would love to engage with you. Even when you're on the gym or you're driving or you're cooking, you can listen to our videos, you can listen to our material on podcast. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless you.